Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live, and it is the post-match reaction of yet another loss from Arsenal. I'm losing the will to live as we sit here contemplating not just top four, but European football altogether. I didn't think I'd be in this situation, but we are, and the reality is real. We've lost 3 games which we needed to win because we knew that our running was the toughest of the lot. We've imploded. We've fallen off a cliff. We had an opportunity to drag ourselves back into it and put ourselves in another solid position after the Spuds lost 1-0 to Brighton today. But no. Arsenal being Arsenal, knowing full well that everyone else is dropping points, knowing full well that Southampton, Brighton, and Crystal Palace had barely won a game in 2022. In fact, they hadn't won a game in 2022. But Arsenal did the Arsenal thing, and we gave our charity. I'm joined by Jerome Marks. What's your feeling on the situation, Jerome?
I can't believe what we were watching. Especially when you consider, like you mentioned, the forms of these teams. I mean, Brighton and Palace, they're not bad teams. Like, they're okay, but this Southampton team, I reckon, this is the worst Southampton team in about 15 years. They had nothing about them. They had no threat. They weren't a great footballing side. They didn't have really any standout players. They've got nothing to play for as well. Mm-hmm. And that's what's worrying, is that we're not just losing to teams that are okay. Now we've lost to a team that's poor.
Yeah.
And that ain't good at all.
It's a worry when they're bringing on Shane Long, and I'm worried that Shane Long might come on and score his first goal in 45 appearances. Like, it's there's so many things to worry about at the moment at Arsenal. One of the main things being is we're not putting the ball in the back of the net. And I can't even say that if Lacazette was there today, that he wouldn't have played, because I feel like he would have started. I rewatched the Brighton game, and although he only had 8 touches, he created 3 or 4 free kicks around the edge of the area. Didn't lose the ball too much. Didn't get on the ball. He wasn't good at all. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying he was good, but I look back and I think to myself, this guy weren't getting dropped. He was never getting dropped. He wasn't playing today because he was ill. He was sick. So it's a worry. We've got 3 games. We've got Chelsea on Wednesday, Man United, and Tottenham. And if we can come out at them games with any points off the back of the form that we've been playing, I will be stunned, genuinely stunned, because I don't see where we're going to get anything from how we're playing to turn up in those games, and those teams will be buoyed at the fact that Arsenal are in bad form, and they will punish us for it as well.
Yeah, confidence must be so low in that dressing room.
Yeah,
like the belief,
self-belief massively. They'd be kicking themselves because of how they've played. They'd be kicking themselves because they've given up an opportunity to sort of push to get back points on Tottenham, and they'd be kicking themselves because of the position they were in, and now they've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
And it's a young team, and that this is the worry. We needed our experienced players. We needed the manager to use all of his experience, maybe lack of experience as a manager itself, but he's been a assistant manager at one of the best teams in Europe for 3 or 4 seasons. He's been a cup winning captain at Rangers. He's been a cup winning captain at Arsenal. Like, these are the experiences you need to draw on as a manager. Use those times and help this team get through it. At the moment, it's not. At the moment, it's not.
And it's, you know what? It's not as if it's like sometimes you go through a bad run, but you say, we've got this player coming back in a couple of weeks. We don't have that at all. We've got no one. No, we've got no one that's going to come back to improve the team. This is what we've got. Yeah. And it's only going to, we can only really lose more players rather than gain anyone.
Party's out till next season. He ain't coming back. Yeah. He's done. Yeah. Sambi wasn't bad today.
I thought it was probably our best player. I thought it was probably our best player.
And I watched the Brighton game again, and he weren't bad against Brighton. So it was a bit baffling as to why, and Arsenal played better once Xhaka moved back into the middle and Sambi had someone to play with as well. But again and again and again, any chances that we're getting in and around the box, we're not taking. We're not getting enough chances. Did Southampton have any troubles today? Their defenders, we didn't stretch them, didn't get beyond them, didn't. Fraser Forster had a good game. Fraser Neuer, every time we play against him, he steps it up all of a sudden. But I don't know. Let's get on to the player ratings.
Yeah.
How you doing, Steve? Let's get to the player ratings.
How you doing, mate? I hope you can hear me okay.
Yep, we can hear you. I'm about to lose my rag. So let's swiftly move on and give our opinions, and we'll get into it a little bit more come Tuesday, because once again my weekend's now ruined by Arsenal after that appalling result. Let's start with Aaron Ramsdale. Jerome, what's your thoughts on Aaron Ramsdale today?
I don't think he could have really done much about the goal, to be honest. And apart from that, he had barely anything to do. With these ratings, just one thing I will say, it's not so much related to Ramsdale, but with the whole team. These ratings go from sort of 0 or 1 to 10, don't they? Sometimes I think we think that they begin at 5. But for me, I think the way I'm going to look at it now is 5 is just like a bang, like just an average game. Like we hardly ever give players 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, but we give players 7, 8s, 9s. So we should be able to dip into those lower numbers as well.
These last few games, don't worry. There's been a few 3s and 4s, definitely. 100%.
Yeah, not too much to say when it comes to Ramsdale. So just a bang average 5 for me for him.
All right, Steve, what's your thoughts on Ramsdale today?
Yeah, pretty much the same. No blame for him for the goal. Again, really didn't have much to do, and Southampton really didn't give much second half. It was mainly all Arsenal, but all a bit powder puff. So yeah, I'd give Ramsdale 6.
Right, and I think that's a key word, powder puff. It's not necessarily Arsenal going through the motions, but there was nothing threatening about what they did, and it hasn't been. It really hasn't been against Brighton. It wasn't. There was nothing threatening about what they did. The defenders were not stretched. The defenders did not break a sweat. They did not come out that game thinking, "Cool, bloody hell, I don't want to face Lacazette again." Cool. Saka and Martinelli, but even Martinelli weren't too bad in that game. But again, they're not. It's not a trouble. Defenders want to be ripped apart, but they're not. Gabriel, Jerome,
probably another 5. Like both centre backs, to be honest, they didn't really have much to do, and that centre forward's got quite building quite a nice name for himself. The centre forward that's on loan from Chelsea, but he was pretty quiet, really, wasn't he? He didn't really do much, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So probably a 5 for Gabriel, just an average 5 for Gabriel.
All right, just a 5 for Gabriel. Steve, what's your score for Gabriel?
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing with Ramsdale. Southampton didn't really offer much, and when I see Gabriel, when he had the ball, he was pretty, pretty good with it. He was coming out a few times, never really got looked at any trouble. So again, I'm going to go just a little. I can see why what Jerome's saying by giving him a 5, but I'm going to give him a 6. I didn't think he did much wrong.
All right. Ben White, Jerome.
Yeah, I'd give him the same as what I gave Gabriel, probably a 5. What I will say about White is that maybe it's due to expectations, but I don't know if it's wrong to say. Like, I'm expecting a bit more from him. I know he's obviously like at this ball playing centre back, but at the moment, or the last few games, those sort of forward runs are few and far between, and he's sort of doing the job of just like an average sort of defender, really. For me, recently, he's not showing me that like added value that supposedly comes with Ben White. Maybe we're just expecting too much from him.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a 5. I think he went on one run in the second half where he sort of came out of defence a bit, but yeah, I'll go for a 5.
All right, 5 for Ben White. Steve, Ben White.
Yeah, I didn't think it was one of his times. A couple of times he gave the ball away, which is pretty, unlike Ben White. I don't think this was we've lost 2 games before, and I thought like Ben White still, performed pretty well. I think he was a little bit below those standards today because, like Jerome said, we probably expect a higher performance from him, and from certain players we should expect that, if they're capable of, and they're not, and they've made mistakes. So yeah, as much as we love him, as much as we wouldn't take him out the side, we do have to call him out, or if we feel we have to call him out, we should do. So I'm going to give Ben White the same mark as what Jerome did on this one. I'm going to give him a 5.
All right. Yeah, I agree with what Jerome said with regards to you expect a bit more, and I think that's what it is. I think it's with the player that he is, he's got to add them attributes to the game to be that standout, because that's his game. If he's not spraying the 40-yard diags, if he's not splitting the defence with some of his passes, if he's not creating an extra body in midfield where he's moving out of defence and drawing in a player, then he's just another defender. And as Steve said, he lost the ball a few times today, which is massively frustrating because there was a couple of basic passes he messed up, and then a couple of like mid-range, longer passes that he messed up as well, and they're bread and butter for him. So yeah, I agree. It's just frustrating. It's not pinpointing Ben White as a major reason why we lost today, because we only conceded 1 goal. But he, in a game today, he's got to be that extra man. He's not a defender today. He is the extra body in midfield. He's that one who's going to potentially create a pass, which is going to. And there wasn't that today. So, yeah, I think it's only fair. Cedric.
Steve, do you want to go first on Cedric?
He didn't have a good one today, did he? I didn't think he was great. I think he was because it was against his old club. I think he was trying too hard. There was a lot of oomph from him. He was trying to do things where maybe he should have passed. Some of his crosses were where they're normally on point. I mean, 2 or 3 today were off. You know how much I love Cedric, so I don't get any pleasure saying this. But some of his free kicks were pretty much awful. And I mean, a corner that he took and then he just kicked it out of play. And I was like, oh, God. And then he took off quite early, didn't he, in the second half. So but for me, it wasn't a good day at the office for Cedric. And again, but... I'm not going to have a go at him too much because he's done really, really well since he came in for Tommy Ashew. But today I'm going to give him a 5.
All right, 5 for Cedric. Jerome.
I'll probably go a 4. I don't know why he's our free kick taker all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I don't know where
crazy.
that. I don't know where that's
don't
coming from.
understand
You got Odegaard on the pitch, and Cedric's he's taking free kicks. He's taking corners. Now I don't know who makes those decisions. Whether that's the players themselves, whether it's the manager.
Just thinking that.
I don't get it.
It's the people on the pitch. Look, you can have all the beforehands all you want. It's quite evident that Odegaard is the free kick taker. He takes the free kicks, but then there's these random sporadic ones where Cedric's lining up, and even the other day against Brighton, Cedric, after the first embarrassing one where he's put it straight into the wall, he decides to have the audacity to go up and ask for another one, and the players go, "No, go away, go away." But why is he there? Why is Cedric around the ball?
After free kick, when you would have thought they'd got the message. I mean, they were the three of the worst free kick, worst crosses I've ever seen for a long time.
I mean, you've got I know you've got like Trent that takes set pieces, and the guy that Newcastle signed, the right back.
Kieran Trippier, but they're specialists.
But apart from that, how many teams will have their second choice right back taking corners and free kicks?
But Jerome, even if they were, I've never seen Cedric take free kicks apart from these last two games. All of a sudden, he's Beckham.
That's probably what he's doing. He's training. Maybe he's doing Beckham-esque in training.
Well, someone needs to ask James Ward-Prowse if Cedric was any good at taking free kicks when he was at Southampton, because I've never even heard of it in my life. I've never seen Cedric take a free kick or a set piece, and all of a sudden he's taking them regularly now. Like we've run out of play. Like Odegaard didn't hit the crossbar last week. Like he hasn't scored 2 free kicks, or Xhaka hasn't scored a free kick. Like that weldy free kick he scored past Chelsea last season. Why is Cedric around the ball when we're placing it down? He's not a forward player. It almost feels like, when like things are going well and you have a little change, you change a little thing, it continues to go well. You change another little thing, it continues to go well. And then you sort of forget what you did in the first place, that things were going well. You forget what we were doing. We're overthinking it all of a sudden. We're doing well. We're getting wins against Wolves, with some tough games, all of a sudden, we've got our centre midfield in at left back. We've got people playing all over the place. The wheels have come off massively, and I don't know if anyone's got any answers for it. I'm worried.
Yeah.
I think we know why. What they are. I think we know why the wheels have come off. Answers is right, mate. Maybe we can go on that Tuesday. But,
no, we have to. I'm not ruining my weekend any more than it needs to be. All right, Nuno Tavares came in today. Back in.
So he look, he was under a lot of pressure, Tavares. Every probably touch of his would have been scrutinised, and he probably felt like, I'm under a lot of pressure here. Like, players are under pressure anyway when they play, but even more so him. And I thought he done okay. I thought he was fine. He had his customary shot on his right foot, which went miles over the bar. But I don't. Yeah, but look, that's fine. I thought he done okay. It was quite a safe game from him. And if he would have played like that against Brighton the other week, I think that would have been fine as well. I'd give him probably a 5, I reckon. He was okay. He played it safe.
All right, Steve, Tavares.
Yeah, I thought he was decent. I didn't think he did much wrong. When he got on the ball, he looked, unlike the last couple of games, he looked pretty assured. When he was moving forward, he wasn't looking rash. He looked a bit more controlled, and like Jerome just said, he must have had immense pressure on him that game. And for me, that for him to come on and to perform like, I think the way he did, I think he deserves quite a decent pat on the back. I thought he done well. Well done to him. I would give him. I'd give him a 6, quite a nice 6 actually. Just probably due to the fact that because of what Jerome said and because of the pressure, and that he came on and he gave a good performance and an assured one with no mistake. So yeah, 6, high 6.
Yeah, I think if you listen, no, it'd just be a 6, Steve. If you listen to Mikel Arteta's comments the other day, it seems as though it was more the player than the manager that was the reasoning why he started off didn't start in last week's game. I think he pointed out self-belief being the issue, and if that is the case, then I can't really argue with that. If he's looking at the player in training and it seems like he's being tentative in training and that's going to be taken into the next game, then it is probably better off that the manager takes him out the limelight and gives him a rest. So I can't really argue with that. But yeah, no, I thought he came in and done the job today. Yes, he had his customary frustrating long shot, which always winds me up because I've not seen a decent one since probably about the second game he played. But that's Tavares. He just needs to sort of get his shooting boots on so he can test the keeper a little bit more. Granit Xhaka. Jerome.
I thought he started off the game very, very poorly for Xhaka. Misplacing passes, and for me, he played the game in like first or second gear. For me, it was just a standard Xhaka game. Really, didn't do anything spectacular. Didn't make any horrific errors, but he was okay. I think Lokonga was the centre midfielder that seemed to dominate. He was having more touches. I think the play was going through him more than Xhaka. Just didn't add any value really. Xhaka, he was all right. Him being in midfield meant that like our midfield wasn't overrun and we did have control of the game, but he didn't really do much to like not excite, but he was just bang average. So yeah, 5.
All right, 5 for Xhaka. Steve.
I don't remember the misplaced passes, although I had a couple of grandchildren jumping on me at halfway through the first half, so I'm not going to say that he didn't have them. So but I thought the second half he played well. He was getting forward well. He's a good passer to the ball. It was a good passer in the second half anyway, and he was springing it about, and he looked quite dangerous when he's coming forward. And to be quite honest with you, he looked coming forward. He was more dangerous than what Odegaard was. I think until the last 10 minutes, then Odegaard decided, because I thought Odegaard was awful. Xhaka, for me, he didn't do much wrong. As you say, he was Granit Xhaka, I'm going to give him a 6. Maybe if I see the first half more, I might give him a 5.
Right, 6 for Xhaka. Sambi Lokonga. Jerome?
Yeah, probably our best player. Everything seemed to be going through him, through the middle of the pitch. Loads of touches, nice interchanges at times, kept the ball well. Maybe not enough sort of attacking runs perhaps through the middle, but I guess it was quite congested there. But he was all right. He played quite well. I'll give him a 6, Lokonga.
All right, Lokonga with a 6. Steve, Lokonga.
I can't remember him doing much, to be honest with you. There was a couple of times. I mean, not that you take any notice of Twitter, but they was having a ruck at him a few times, and as I say, my stream kept going in and out a lot. So I bow to Jerome's expertise on him there. But I think we need more. I don't think he's ready for Arsenal. So it's all about opinion. I think we need a midfield player badly to come in. He's not experienced enough to be in that midfield to be a Champions League player, although or to take us through to that level when we've got an injury. I just don't think he is. But I think he's someone who the Arsenal need to develop, and I don't think it's fair on him that we're putting him into this type of situation to say when one of our midfield players gets injured, you're the man that's got to go and do it. And I can see that when he gets the ball, he is trying to do it. And what Jerome says, right, he is trying to knock it about. He is trying to get the ball forward. But he still doesn't, to me, look, he still needs, to me, looks like a player who needs developing and a player that shouldn't be in this situation. You know, there should be an Arthur in there like that. There shouldn't be a Sammy Lokonga. And that's probably why, we've said it before, that's why Arteta was going to get an Arthur or anybody in the midfield. We know we needed one. Too early. Put another situation where an Arsenal player has been put in too early to do a big job. But again, his time will come for me. I'm going to give him. I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6.
Sammy Congo with a 6 there as well. I thought he did the right. Considering. I think a 6 is a fair enough score. Oh, it's just frustrating. Martin Odegaard. Jerome.
Yeah. Like Steve said, until the last 10-15 minutes, he was anonymous.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I thought giving him the captain's armband would have sort of put a rocket up him to think like, right, I'm the captain today. I've got to make things happen, keep busy, and he wasn't at all. He wasn't involved. He went missing. It's with Odegaard. He's either absolutely fantastic, or he's just, like I said, anonymous, and you don't see him. And it was the latter today. He was. He was rubbish. I'll say he was rubbish. You might as well have had someone else playing because he didn't offer. When you're playing in that position, like you got to offer something, and he just nothing. Terrible. That's not a. If you see that, if you were to watch Odegaard today, and that's how he played, you'd be like, oh, we shouldn't sign this sort of player. He was rubbish.
He was not good today.
Really bad, and like I said. I thought giving him the captaincy would have been good for him, but didn't seem to make any bit of difference at all. Probably a 4. Odegaard, terrible.
Right. 4 for Odegaard from Jerome. Steve, Odegaard.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was on the pitch for about 35 minutes, and then I think they said his name, and then I thought, oh yeah, Odegaard's playing. And at one point, I was actually looking for him. You know, when you're going through the team sheet and you're thinking. Is he actually playing? You know, have I read the team sheet right? You know, because he hadn't touched the ball, he hadn't done anything, he wasn't showing. I don't know what's going wrong in that side over these last 3 games because it's just absolutely fallen apart. You know, when you think that, you know, it wasn't so long ago that, you know, we had lost 1 in 11 games. And we was literally lauding these players to these incredible heights, which rightly so we did. And we was lauding Arteta, you know, as the, you know, the next Pep Guardiola. And then gone to these last 3 games, we can't beat Palace and we can't beat Brighton and we can't beat Southampton. And not only can we not beat them, we was shite against them. How does that happen? How does that happen? You know, is it because the midfield players are gone? Is it because Dean is out? I don't know. It's you know, I could go on and on about it, but it's probably best saving it. But Odegaard was poor today, was rubbish, and say last time, I mean, 2 or 3 of the shots today, I was like, it was one of the ones where he was trying shots, and it was like, what are you doing? Just don't shoot, you know, because he was hitting them like 10 yards away from the goal outside the box, and it was just one of them days where you said, nothing you do today is going to be right. So as much as I love him, as much as we know who he is and what he can do today, terrible. And another bad day at the office, mate. But hopefully do good in the next one against Chelsea. I'll give him a 4.
4 for Odegaard. Saka.
He missed a very important chance in the first half. When it came to him on his right foot, and he sort of hit it back towards where the goalie was coming from. Good save, but you hit that hard and low on the floor to the left-hand side of the goal, and it's a goal. And that was very important in the grand scheme of things for this game. And apart from that, not the Saka that we all know and love. Not as good as what we know he's capable of. Seemed a bit hesitant to sort of take his fullback on.
I've been seeing that I've been seeing that recently though.
Yeah,
I said it against Liverpool. I said it against. I thought it was just a thing against some of the bigger teams, but I wonder whether he's hesitant because he's been feeling a bit. He's been kicked about recently over the last 6 months to a year. I wonder if it's just taking its toll. Probably needs a rest, which would help that. Would stop him from sort of holding out a bit. But not really got much option at the moment.
No, I give him a 5, Saka.
Steve, Saka.
Yeah, as James already said, he's just not the Saka of over the last 3 games that we've been seeing over the last 11 games. He don't seem to be right. There's quite a few players we could say that about, but yeah, I mean, firstly, I've got to say, what is he doing over the left? What is he doing? Yeah, I know you're still saying about the shot, and I agree. He's shooting at times. He's pretty rubbish, and I think he's still got to improve on that a lot. But when he's on that left, he's cutting inside and he's taking his shots with his weaker foot, right? And they're pad a puff. And that's why you just said, he should have scored that goal, and you're right, Graham, he should have scored it. But first thing I see when I see that, I said, he's coming in, he's on his wrong foot. Why is he over? Why is Martinelli over on the right? And why is Saka on the left? I don't get it. Is it something to do because of the Tavares at left back and there's something going on there? I don't know. But I can't. It's another mistake for me.
That's what I think it was.
That's what it is. He wants protection. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. That's a problem then. Why are we overcompensating? We just got to play our game. Again, this is what I mean about overthinking. You're overthinking. Just play the players. Nuno Tavares was quite capable of having a run of 5 or 6 games to the point where it was like, this geezer could keep Tierney out of the team. We're hearing reports that Man City are looking at him. But now, apparently, we've got to change our whole team just to fit him in. Like, what are we doing? Arteta, I've got so much time for Arteta, but right now, you are undoing so much hard work. You are making these arguments for you week in week hard. These last 3 games are a problem, mate. Like a serious problem. We're talking about Crystal Palace, always a hard game. We know it's always a hard game. If we would have gone in that game thinking we've got to win this game and come out with a draw from Selhurst Park, we'd have been like, that's a good point. Brighton at home is 3 points. They had one of the worst records in the league. Yeah, they were getting consolidation from drawing to Norwich. They drew to Norwich and they were like, okay, we stopped that rot. We stopped that at Norwich. And then Southampton, you have to win. Again, they're our bogey team. But you've got to beat them. Jerome said it himself. This is the worst Southampton team that has been around in years. There's not one player in this Southampton team, bar James Ward-Prowse, Livramento maybe.
Who didn't play?
No. James Ward-Prowse. There's one player in this Southampton team. I don't want to hear anything about these youngsters. I don't want to hear anything about these players, man. Sorry. I can't. We're talking about a youngster that's on loan from Chelsea. This ain't a world beater.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse is a top player, England international. Apart from that, Southampton have not got any players. They've got good players, okay players. Southampton have always been a team that got, I'll take that player. I'll take him. They're just Southampton. They're not a great team, and they've been in such bad form. They just got spanked 6-0 to Chelsea. And yet Arsenal are coming along 1-0 Southampton.
Terrible.
Mikel, at a time, where you had to show what you're about, your managerial, your tactical genius, how you motivate the team, you've absolutely flopped, mate. And I still back you, but you've absolutely flopped in a time when we needed to see what you was about. Absolutely flopped, mate. I can't. This is not me. This is not me joining no in-out crew. I don't get into that because I want to see this gear succeed. I think he's doing very good things. I think he's got a very good sort of way about him. But you need to, you've got to pull something out against Chelsea, Man United, and Tottenham. I have to. There's no two ways about it. They were your easier options. Now you've got to turn it around against harder teams.
He's starting to make mistakes, Kieran. That's the thing, right? As you said, we're all behind him, right? And I'll be behind him next season wherever we finish. And I don't think he should go. I'm fully behind him, right? And I will say to people who are saying now, get him out. I said, well, you wasn't saying that when, we lost one game in 11, and we had our full team and we was flying, right? No one was saying it then, but you are getting people saying, coming out, or probably people who wasn't saying it then.
I don't think they're ever on side, if I'm honest. I don't think they're ever on side.
Right, mate. That's right. But he has to be called out on certain things over these last 3 games, right? Because he's made glaring mistakes that's cost us. Yeah. Now we're going to give him the chance. We know what he's done. We know what he's done with the club. We put out all the crap. He's got some decent sorted the backs out. We can see that he's building some of his progress there. Yeah. So we stick by him, but we have to say it how it is. You not bringing 2 players in January. I said it right from in January, has lost us the Champions League place. I fully believe it. Because if we had, I don't know about the Aubameyang thing, I don't know. Maybe if it's treated differently. I didn't like it at the time, if you remember, Kieran. I can't say that this, because I wasn't privy to going on. But whatever happened there, we should have brought a forward in, someone of note, someone of experience, and we should have brought a midfield in. Because how the hell he thought that we were going to get into Champions League, and it's just we had hope, but now it's just blaring out, and the mistakes against when he's playing Xhaka at left back, leaving the midfields open, putting Saka over here, and putting Thingy over there, and making Cedric make free kicks. They're glaring mistakes that are just costing us, and I don't know. It's annoying. It's annoying.
It is annoying because if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But there's been so many things that have been forced out of our hands, but we still didn't need to change much. We didn't need to change much. The instructions needed to be the same. Come out, all guns blazing, first 20, put them on the back foot. Don't let them get into the game. Do not let them get into the game. Take your chance. Put them 1-0. Put us 1-0 ahead before half time. Put us ahead. Take your chances. We're not doing that anymore. We're not coming out at the start out of the blocks. We're not doing that. There's no intensity anymore. No. Yeah, and we're not taking our chances. So once you take that away, which was the main thing that was getting Arsenal into the position they were, that put us in that false spot, then what have you got? You're back to Arsenal divvying around with the ball, namby-pamby passes going nowhere, no trouble. Everything played in front of their centre backs, not getting beyond their full backs. It's easy to play against. Going back to what we were doing last season. Going back to that. We ain't at the moment. We're not Arsenal where we could go tap, 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 50 passes, slot through, goal. We're not that Arsenal at the moment. We're intense. We're a different Arsenal. We can get to that, but right now we're intense. We've got to play intensive football. We use our wingers, Saka and Martinelli, who are constant threats. That keeps their fullbacks pinned back. It makes their defenders worry. Lacazette pulls their defender, one of their defenders out of the out of their centre back, and then draws them into midfield, which creates space for Odegaard, which then we can pick pockets. We're not doing that. The defenders know that Lacazette ain't going to do nothing. They let him have the ball. The wingers aren't pressing or aren't pinning back the fullbacks. It's no worries. So the fullbacks are now attacking us. I'm stunned. I'm lost for words. Martinelli.
We're a team of midfield players. We're a team of midfield players trying to beat sides. That's where we're just a team of midfield players. We've got no strikers. Lacazette's not a striker anymore. You see him more in midfield than you do up front. The Ketty is pretty much the same. When do you ever see him going through the channels or trying to get in the box? We're a team of midfield players trying to get to the Champions League, right? And you can't go and we're not Man City. We're not Man City. We've not got De Bruyne and Sterling and Mahrez. Where they can get 15 goals a season. We've got midfield players who can get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. And it's frustrating, mate. I feel it's terrible.
No, it is.
But
it is. And the thing is, Eddie Nketiah is a goal poacher in Fox in the box. Yeah, we've managed to turn him into one of them players that when you ask him where he wants to play, he says AM centre because he no responsibility to scoring a goal and doesn't really have to do much around the pitch. What
is AM centre? What is AM centre? It's like they got all these names there, haven't they? Attacking, midfield, centre,
ACM,
left,
ACM. Yeah. Martinelli.
Nah, again.
Jerome just didn't even want to say, just nah.
Maybe a 5 for Martinelli.
I think there's a couple of flashes.
Yeah, he saw quite a lot of the ball, didn't he? But he's a couple of times, I guess he went down the left. A couple of times came back in. But this I wouldn't say it was a great performance. I don't know. It's so weird because we love these players. Martinelli, love him, but I don't know. Like I said with Odegaard, I think we won't see the best of these players until we've got a proper centre forward because they're basically playing with a man down. Yeah. And he's got no connection with the centre forward, Martinelli. So it's him playing it back to Xhaka or playing it to the left back or taking it himself. He's got no centre forward. He's got no centre forward to work with, basically. And it's a shame.
Yeah, it is. Steve Martinelli.
Yeah, he was, pretty much anonymous apart from a couple of things, like you said, on the wrong side, down the right. He's never as dangerous down that right-hand side than he is the left. As Jerome said, he did pop over there a couple of times, looked much better. So should have started there from the start. This is another thing that we seem to keep doing with Arteta at the minute. He seems to keep changing too much in games, and that says a lot about where we are at the minute. And I give him 5.
All right, Eddie Nketiah.
He did one very good thing in the first half when he took on the left hand side when he sprinted and he got fouled. But look, he's not a Premier League striker, and it's a bit. He shouldn't be in this team. He should have been gone about 2 or 3 seasons ago. Eddie, I could have told you the first few times I saw him, he's not at Arsenal level, but he's playing. He's in the team. We've got no one else.
Yeah,
I don't know what people expect.
He picked at that game against Norwich, where he was in 2-0 down in the cup, and he come back and scored 2 goals to win us the game 3-2. That's where he peaked. That's the player he was.
Well, that was, I think, that's Like one was a header from a corner. I don't know if they might have both been from corners. Like you can't judge a centre forward on a couple of corners.
Yeah, he's a cup. He's a League Cup. He's a League Cup striker. You want someone to come in because you want to rest your striker because you've got a European game next week. Your striker's just played a few big games. Your other striker is injured. You bring in Eddie Nketiah, League Cup, 20 minutes to go. He's not a starter. He's not. He shouldn't even be in the squad. So that when we even have to point out, actually, no, there's a body there. We can't bring in a striker because we've got Eddie. Like it shouldn't even be an option.
If you're telling me the better option is to have Martinelli on the left and Nketiah through the middle rather than Smith Rowe on the left and Martinelli in the middle, then I must be watching a different sport.
Yeah,
I can't. He hasn't even done it once. He's not given that a chance. We've been so poor recently. We've had Lacazette as our only striker since January, and to not have even tried it once, like, I'm sorry, I do like Arteta, but he, like you said, Kieran, like he's making some dodgy decisions. Like you'd rather have Nketiah on that pitch rather than Emile Smith Rowe.
No, I wouldn't.
It's a joke.
I just wouldn't.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous.
And I'm not. I don't want to sit here and bash Eddie because it's
not his fault.
It's not his fault. It's not the ability to be playing for Arsenal. And this game again. It's not even about Eddie. Like it's not about Eddie. There's so many things more wrong in this game than Eddie Nketiah. He's not the problem. That's the thing. I don't want to sit here and bash Eddie because he's not the problem. He just shouldn't be in the team. We shouldn't be doing a player rating on Eddie Nketiah week in, week out. Yeah. It shouldn't be an option. Look, Arsenal, of the top 6, off the top of my head, are the only team that don't have, quality in the first team and as the backup. Every single team does. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Man United. Now, Man United, as you start to go down, it starts to get a bit looser. The quality starts to drift off. But you're still talking about seasoned international players. Yeah. Arsenal can barely string an 11 together. When they've got their 11, we'll take on anyone. Yeah. But past that 11, we have got no one. There's 2 players on our bench that could then come into that team and play and be like, I actually can play. And one of them is like it's and the other one's the goalkeeper. The other one is the goalkeeper. Like there's a serious problem. This is the problem. We need to talk about this Tuesday. I need to move on. We need to move on. What's Freddie Nketiah?
4 for me.
4. Steve?
Well, I tell you what, he was better than Lacazette's been in the last 3 games. I thought at least he showed, at least he was moving. At least he was like trying.
He just had to take the kickoff well to be better than Lacazette in the last few games.
Yeah.
I've got just that one against Brighton. Oh my word! It's like this was one of the 8 passes that people were talking about.
But after 20 minutes, he was like, you thought he might be able to do something today. So he didn't, and he was pretty poor after that. But you could see something. So I'll give him that. Which I could say I've seen a lot. I haven't seen Lacazette do that recently. But you're right, it's not about Eddie. He didn't do a lot today. You've said it all, everything about him. He's a player that should be playing for, maybe a middle of the road sort of Premiership
Burnley,
club, possibly.
Go Burnley.
Or
you get game time at Burnley.
Or is it the fact that he's playing around players that sometimes are not, although we think we've got these great young kids, and that's what we are. We've got a team of great young promising kids still who are at the top of their probably level of kids, because a lot of them are in the England squad, but they're not there yet. Kieran, you just said about You know, you look at your top six. You know, you look at the benches, you look at the squad. So should we surprise if we finish sixth at the end of the season? Should we turn around and say, "Oh, what a disaster"? Because
Bite your hand off the six for six now.
Because
Getting there,
really, if at the beginning of the season you put all them six squads, you say we're not as good as them, and Arsenal finish sixth. So maybe that's the way. Maybe that's our fate. Maybe that's where we should be. You know, are we better? Got a better squad than Man United? No. Have we got a better squad than Tottenham? No. You know, look at Liverpool. They bring on players like Diaz and, you know, Firmino on as substitutes. You know, Man City have got Mahrez or Jesus. Tottenham bring on Bergwijn or Moura. You know, and Manchester United can bring on a Rashford or a Lingard, or we bring on Eddie Nketiah.
But Arsenal don't even bring on
where we are.
Yeah, Arsenal don't even bring on their youngsters because they know they're not ready, and they know it would be unfair to put them in that situation. They won't bring on a Flores, they won't bring on a Hutchinson because it's not fair to bring those on. Because I watched those players, I watched the youth team quite a lot, and they're not ready. They're not ready. Yeah. It's a good experience for them to be on the bench and feel that they could be a part of it, and hopefully one day or sometime this season, if we're 3-4-0 up in a game, God knows where them goals are going to come from.
Massive summer,
They can bring on a Hutchinson or a Flores, but they're not there at the moment. They ain't there.
No.
They ain't there, and he won't bring them on because it won't be fair. Because they're not ready, and he knows they're not ready. So they're just bodies at the moment. So because you were sticking bodies on the bench, just bodies, just so we can have numbers. Otherwise, we're sticking two goalkeepers on the bench, which we have done this season as well. We've stuck two goalkeepers on the bench. It's astounding. Quickly, Smith Rowe.
Give it Eddie a 4.
Okay, 4. Smith Rowe.
It was okay. 5. What do you have? 25, 30 minutes, Smith Rowe, to come on, something like that. Maybe a 5.
Steve, Smith Rowe.
Yeah, he came on and didn't do much wrong. Should have scored for me. They were saying, Foster they made a good save, but he made a right meal of it. You know what I mean? Smith Rowe again, another little bit of a pad above shot for me. Made it easy for Foster, and he made it look like one for the cameras. You know, be on YouTube tonight. You know, making it look like a worldie. But Smith Rowe, again, I think we've got some shooting practice for quite a few of our players in through next week. But I know we're talking about Smith Rowe, but I just remember we've got Chelsea Wednesday. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, man. Chelsea Wednesday. Went right off base there. Chelsea came into my head. I started seeing Stamford Bridge and the tune as they come out. Smith Rowe, 4 for me.
Okay. And Nicolas Pepe.
Just not long enough, really. He had that one sort of half chance when he hit it wide of the post, but it was maybe not even a half chance, sort of like a left-footed volley, like from behind him.
It's like a half overhead kick, weren't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not
long enough really to make too much of an impact. Maybe a 5 again.
All right, Steve, Pepe.
Hard to mark. We wish he was hard to mark sometimes. I'll give him a 5, mate. Yeah.
All right. Mikel Arteta.
Well, did he pick the wrong team? No, not really. It wasn't really a lot of. Didn't do much wrong with the team. He only completely picked the defence that we wanted him to pick. We knew the midfield could only be Xhaka and Lokonga. That's what it is. We would have been happy with Odegaard playing. Nketiah up front for Lacazette. We probably would have said, okay, if you're going to pick the two, especially the way Lacazette's been performing recently, we'd probably understand that. Total cock up having them two on the wrong wings at the beginning. I felt that was a mistake. Looking into it, a bit more deeply, I don't think he should have played Eddie at all. And we should have played Smith Rowe. So you could say that was another mistake. So we have quite a few there. Again, not a great day at the office again for him. Again, there was only a few mistakes that he could make, and he seemed to have made them. And I hate saying it, I hate talking just about him. But I'm going to give him a 4.
Mm-hmm. Jerome, Mikel Arteta today.
I'm going to give Arteta a 3. His job as the manager isn't just to pick the teams and go through the tactics. You've got to motivate and get these players up for the games and make sure that they're sort of playing the best they can and they're fired up for the game. We're playing in first or second gear here. There's no intensity. There's no will to win. And unfortunately, the buck stops with the manager. Obviously, he can only do so much, but he's getting paid a lot. You get paid a lot of money, these managers, not just to pick teams, because anyone can pick a team. You've got to motivate these players, and they don't look motivated at all, especially when you consider that the teams they're playing against have got 0 to play for. They've got nothing to play for. This is a very important part of the season for us. We've got loads to play for, but unfortunately, as each game goes on, we're going to have less and less to play for. It's going to be either Europa League or Conference League. And I'd take 6th right now. And for me, the manager's making too many mistakes. He's not getting the best out of these players. And 3 for him today, Arteta. We've praised him a lot, but by the same token, he's still open to criticism like everyone else.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, we'd be acting like an absolute crackpot at the different end of the scale of the people that don't see anything good. So 100%. And I'll probably, for me, I'm probably, 3 and 4 are not too much apart, to be fair, but I'd probably err on the side of what Jerome said there. I'm one for lauding Mikel Arteta and giving him all the praise under the sun that I can. Whenever there's an argument or a debate about Arteta out or whatnot, I was on Hugh Wizz's space just before this, talking about how I still rate the manager and whatnot. However, there's some serious issues with the way we're starting games in the last 3 games. And as Jerome said, it's not just about putting out the right team, because I think the decisions were pretty much made for him today. After what we saw last week at Brighton, if he was to stick Xhaka at left back again and play a 3 in the middle and against this Southampton team and lose, they'd be burning down the Emirates right now. So he put out the squad that was there, but yeah, they weren't motivated. They weren't motivated in the last game or the Crystal Palace game, and it's not just about, when I talk about motivation, I'm not talking about shouting at them and getting them going. I'm talking about self-belief as well. That's a major factor when you're talking about motivating youngsters, giving them the self-belief that they feel they have a need to go into a game against 3 teams that have not been in great form. I take away Crystal Palace because they haven't been too bad. They've had a good season under Patrick Vieira, and they are a tough team away from home for Arsenal. But Brighton and Southampton, they were there for the taking. Brighton were definitely there for the taking. They were worried about Arsenal in that game, and we let them play themselves in. Southampton the same. So yeah, poor from Mikel Arteta, poor from the players, and they have to, if they don't want this season to go down as a poor season or an average to poor season, which it will do if we end up just dropping off a cliff. They need to get something out of the games against Chelsea, Man United and Tottenham, which is crazy to even contemplate. Those 3 games, we do not have an option. We have to get 6 points, 7 points out of those games. We've got to beat Tottenham and Man United and get a draw against Chelsea or whatever. However we want to do it, we've got to get 7 points. Because it's it's more than just getting top 4. It's about finishing the season well. Because otherwise, it's going to be a messy summer, and I can't bother with that. All right, that is all we have time for. It's meant to be a half-hour show. It's now gone into an hour. Frustrations are evident. 1-0 loss to Southampton is not good enough for this club. Poor all over the pitch. Nothing good to take out of it, apart from I'm not having to watch it right now. So, thank you for joining us today, Jerome.
Yeah, pleasure.
And thank you for joining us today, Steve.
Cheers, mate.
All right. As I always say, press that like and subscribe button, people. If you are watching on any other platforms, come over to KS1 TV and press that like and subscribe and join us in the chat next time. All right, peace out, people. It's not over until the fat lady sing, but I'm sure I can hear her in the distance. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.